So this will be the second part of the solutions to our revision sheet. So here we have what was the total distance travelled in the first 2 hours. So first 2 hours is here. Our distance, go up to our line, come across, our distance is 4 kilometres reading across. At one point the bushwalkers stopped for lunch. Well, when they stop, it means as time goes on they're not travelling at all. So it's a horizontal part of the graph there. How far from the starting point was the bushwalker? Well, that's when they came to rest, and they were 12 kilometres, alright, from their starting point. The total distance travelled after 5 hours, we'll read across to 5 hours. Up to the graph, hit our line. Once we hit our line, which is here, read across, and it's 16 kilometres after 5 hours. If the average speed is found by dividing the distance travelled by the time taken, for the 6-hour trip, well, for the 6 hours, they travelled a total distance of 20 kilometres. So we're doing our 20 divided by 6, and we're getting 3.3 repeater, or 3 1/3 kilometres per hour. How fast was the bushwalker moving in the third hour? Now the third hour, well, this is our first hour, this is our second hour, this is our third hour. From 2 to 3 is our third hour. Well, they moved from 4 kilometres up to 12 kilometres, so there's a difference there of 8 kilometres in that 1 hour. So the speed is 8 divided by 1, so 8 kilometres per hour. In question 2, for our extended response, we've got 400 litres to start off with. So, to start off with means when time is 0, there's 400 litres. After 1 day, there's now only 320 because it's losing or leaking 80 litres per day. Loses another 80 litres, so after 2 days it's 240. After 3 days, lose another 80. After 4 days, lose another 80. And then we go and plot that here. So we plot our points, and I extend my line to fit my graph. So I went up by 100, so there's 100, 200, 300, there's 400 litres, and that's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. For some reason, this format won't let me put those numbers in, but that's what they should be. So I should be labelling 100, 200, 300, 400, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so part C, let's write the rule. This is where a lot of people get stuck. Well, the numbers are going down by 80, so that's my gradient. It's going down 80 and running 1. Down 80, running 1. Down 80, running 1. So my gradient, my rise over run, is negative 80, which means it's going down. And to start off with, my vertical intercept or my y-intercept is 400, so I've got my plus 400. Now that I've got that rule, I can either use the graph and estimate, or I can use my rule to be exact. So for part D, the volume of water in the tank after 2.5 days, well, N is my days, so I just do negative 80 times 2.5 plus 400. Do that on the calculator, I get 200 litres. For the second part, when will the tank hold 300 litres? Well, this time I know the volume will be 300. I don't know the number of days. Substitute that in, and I solve using my equation. So subtract 400 from both sides, then divide both sides by 80, and then when I do that, I end up with N is 1.25, so 1.25 days, or 1 day, 6 hours. And that's all the solutions and explanations to the revision sheet.